Well, my visa application was, let's say, interesting, as in waiting in long lines and seeing people getting rejected one after another. And when I got the visa, I was just jubilant. It's like, wow, this is like winning a jackpot lottery. I immigrated from India, and over there, the rejection rate is pretty high even for student visa. I found out, well, I thought my life is set over here, right? Good company, well-paying job, good career path. Those were small lotteries to win. The much bigger lottery to come was getting your H-1B visa, then getting your green card, which has like super long wait times. Got married to Meagan. That was the biggest jackpot ever in terms of immigration as well. So that made my wait shorter. And we applied for a green card, I think, 3 years ago. Then COVID hit, things got slowed down quite a bit. I don't have an interview yet. I use so many different services.
Really frustrated. So many apathetic, and I was just super frustrated. Like, how is this even happening? Like, how are we emailing them constantly and calling them and not getting any response whatsoever? And it was like really impacting our lives, like our travel plans and things like that. And so I was extremely frustrated, and I started asking you a million questions all the time. That's how we got connected with the Boundless Attorney Program. Well, one of the things that really appeals to me is that you can set up the Ask My Attorney appointment and actually speak with an attorney and get questions answered, rather than having no response at all. That was incredibly helpful.
I felt I was talking to an immigration therapist.
Incredibly easy. Go online, you schedule an appointment, and you meet with Josette. And so incredibly easy. And it was really reassuring to meet with Josette and get answers to issues we had. Like one of the issues we've had is that we got notification that we're ready to have an interview scheduled in September 2019. And that was a long time ago. And so she gave us advice that we never got before about contacting like the USCIS to, ask for more information about why it's taking so long, reaching out to state senators about that so they could advocate for us, giving us tips about what's happening with the immigration office in Seattle itself. So that was incredibly helpful. Present, she's engaged. She has great advice, very reassuring. And so like all the other attorneys that we engaged with, like, were not really engaged with us at all. They were not responsive. They didn't give us helpful suggestions. They literally would just say, I don't know.
I think Joseph brought much more clarity and transparency into the process. We didn't know what was going on with the USCIS or anything, right? So she brought us all that information that, hey, COVID, it's taking longer, here are the timelines, and Seattle office versus other offices. So all that information is it brings us a little more assurance in terms of I'm not the only person who's left behind. There are other people as well. So it was pretty helpful in that way.
We've had like a couple consultations for her, and that's been enough for us so far, because at this point, you can't really do anything except for wait. I would advise people to get engaged in that process before they even start the green card process. Even if they have an attorney through their company, I would definitely get engaged so that they know how to advocate for themselves, because that's been really important with this immigration process, and we didn't know how to do that. But if we'd have gone with Boundless from the very beginning, I'm 100% positive that we would be a lot further right now.
I feel that the service you get through Boundless is more personalized versus the other firms I work with. They just patch you together. So here are 20 applications we are sending over here, and then we'll see what happens. Versus the Boundless, at least from what I got from Josette, is that they understand where the processing times are faster, what is your unique use case, and based on that, they're able to kind of customize the solution for you.
I think that Boundless would be a great service, like the Ask My Attorney program, and their other services would be great for people like in any stage of immigration process or visa process, because we've had quite a few of our mutual friends say that they practically became like paralegals just trying to go through this process. And a lot of them, were at big corporations like Amazon and Microsoft, and they just weren't getting that support there. So they had like paid legal service, but very helpful for people to get into this before they start anything else.
Yeah, I mean, I second that. To kind of get engaged before they start the process, so that you at least understand the process well. When I started my process, I had no idea what are the different steps. I tried to look them up, and it was all legal jargon. I couldn't understand what's going on, and I was like, I'm sure the attorneys know. So I just followed their advice and their direction, but I never completely understood what is the process, how long does it take, what are the wait times at different stages, what is expected of me. So I think Boundless does a good job of explaining those things to you and kind of set a timeline. So, okay, this is when this should be happening. So be ready for it.